am a huge mood reader, and so I never share my TBR with you guys, but I'm gonna be sharing with you guys the 20 books that I want to read in June. And I am gonna be sharing it with you guys because so many of you have been asking what I'm planning on reading this summer, and I have tons of good book recs that you guys can obviously see, and I just feel like you guys will get tons of recommendations from this video. If you guys want to see more of my TBRs, I do set aside books every month, but a lot of the time I do not stick to the TBR, so I'm not sure if I'll stick to this or not. I have already finished 3 books, so the 3 books that I finished will not be in this video, so I'll actually be showing you guys 17, but I will be reading 20. And yeah, let's just get into this video. These are the 3 books that I've already read this month, and if you guys want to see my review of these 3 books, you can head over to my most recent video where I read 200 pages a day for a full week, and that was such a super fun video. I've read An American Marriage by Diaries Jones. I've also read The Two of Us by Taylor Torres, and I read 99 Days by Katie Kachugo. I'm not really sure how to say her last name, but these are the 3 that I've read. If you want to see a little wrap up of these, head over to that video because I already shared all my thoughts on these. So now let's get into the 17 books that I want to read this month. The first book that I want to read is The Better Half by Ali Frank and Asha Humans. I actually talked about this book in the video where I read 200 pages a day because this book looks so good. It's actually an arc, and I've only gotten like 3 arcs in my lifetime, so I feel so honored. And this is about a woman who's 43, and she pretty much sees the last half of her life as like what she hopes to be the best part of her life, and it just kind of like goes through all that her life entails. And I feel like it's very rare that I get to see books or get to read about women where they are just so like excited to grow old and that they are really celebrating their age, and I just can't wait to read this. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be one of the first books that I start reading. The next book I'm excited about that I feel like is so perfect for summer is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I actually read the cheat sheet and I thought it was super, super cute. I feel like her books are just those books that make you happy. They're really fluffy, light, easy reads, perfect for summer. And this is about a girl who's a pop star, and she pretty much is like, I need to get away from the city. And so she decides to take after Audrey Hepburn and go to Rome, but she goes to Rome, Kentucky, and not like Rome. And so she ends up like going there and her car breaks down, and she meets this guy who I guess helps her fix her car, and everything just kind of spirals from there. So I feel like I really like small town romances, especially in summer, and I feel like I'm absolutely going to love this. The book I Think I Love You by Christina C. Jones is one that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's a little novella. It's not super long at all, and I think I'm excited about this one because I really like Christina C. Jones's writing, and I'm excited to jump into this because I've heard that this is a really good book. This is about Jacqueline, who she pretty much is trying to stay away from this guy. They have like a bad first encounter, like first impression, and he is just like a magnet, just drawn to her, and she's like, hey, like I'm not interested trying to live my single life. And they live in like a small city, and so it kind of gives like small-ish town vibes, and I just feel like this would be a really good book. I again love her writing, and I feel like short books are really easy when you come out of maybe a heavier or a longer book, which I have some of those in this TBR, and this book is literally only 133 pages, so it'll be so easy to breeze through, and I've heard great things about it. All This by Elsie Silver is a book I have literally had on my TBR for so long, and I'm definitely getting to it this summer. I feel like it gives such summer vibes. It's about a bull rider, and I feel like small town vibes are again what I love in the summer. And I think her new book also comes out this month. It's called Reckless. Obviously, I still have 2 other books in the series to read, and I don't even know if I will like this book, but I've been told that this book is similar to Lucy Score's writing, and you guys know I didn't really care for Things We Never Got Over or Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score because I didn't really care for the characters, but what kept me in those books was the writing. Her writing is so easy to read. It reminds me very similarly of like Colleen Hoover. Like you're gonna wanna just eat up every page, and so once I heard that this book is similar to Lucy Score's writing, I was like, okay, I'm 100% in, like no ifs, ands, or buts. So I definitely want to start this soon, and it also is kind of divided up similarly to Lauren Asher's writing, who wrote the Dreamland Billionaire series. it has like these little cool chapter breaks, which I like, and so I'm excited to hop into this one. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez will be the first book I've ever read by her, but I've heard great things about her writing. She recently came out with a book called Yours Truly, which I think is about one of the friends in this book, so I was like, you know what, I need to pick up this book. I feel like this will be a good book because it's about a girl named Alexis who she pretty much is like a really hard worker. She gives millennial vibes, to be honest, like in not the best way, which I'm millennial, so I feel like I can say that, but super hardworking, like puts work kind of ahead of a lot. And then she meets a guy named Daniel who's more chill, casual, laid back, and he isn't as like career driven in a sense of like putting it as like #1 most important thing ever. And she isn't sure how her family will accept him because her family is like super, I don't know, they're very driven and they're very like pushy in a sense that they want her to have a specific career in healthcare. She's an ER doctor, but they like want her to be like some world-renowned surgeon like they are. And so Daniel, it seems, at least from the book, that maybe he tries to teach her how to like slow down and find the joy in things that maybe she's not finding the joy in and just like relax, which gives summer vibes to me. So I'm excited to dive into this. I've heard a lot of good things about her writing, that it's easy to read, and this is on my TBR for June. Wash Day Diaries looks so fun. This is by Jamila Rouser and Robin Smith. This is actually a, like, I forget what they're called, like comic book type situation, and it's about 4 best friends and they're like ride or die, and I just am excited to read this because I actually used to read books like this all the time when I was in high school. These are some of my favorite books to read, so I'm picking it up again because I want to read about interconnected friendships. I don't know why, I've just been like super drawn to like books about friendship, but like look on the back, it's giving like girls going to the hairdresser together, like getting their nails done, having like deep conversations, and that's definitely what I'm here for. Since I just finished Happy Place, I am in the mood for another book by Emily Henry. I've read Book Lovers, I've read Happy Place, and I've read Beach Read. So I want to read People We Meet on Vacation. I've heard mixed reviews about this. Some people say they're obsessed with this story and some people hate it. Personally, I think I'm gonna love it because I do love a good friends to lovers story, and this is about Poppy and Alex, who they pretty much have like such a good friendship and have always been connected, and then something tears them apart. And it says 2 years ago when they ruined everything, they haven't spoken since. And so Poppy, she's trying to rekindle things, and I think she like makes a vacation because they used to go on vacations every year together, and she like makes a vacation and is like, okay, like let's go. And I think he agrees. So she has a week to kind of fix things, figure things out, and I just love books like that where they're kind of stuck in a space together where they like can't leave and have to like just have deep conversations. And I love her writing. I don't think that I will dislike this book. I feel like I'm gonna really love it, especially since it's very focused on the romance. So this is definitely high on my TBR this month. This is the last book in the Hopeless series, and it's called Finding Cinderella by Colleen Hoover. I've read Hopeless and Losing Hope, and I've raved about those books and how much I love them. So I want to finish off the series with this book. It has literally been on my TBR so long. Like I can't even explain how long it's been on there. I don't know if this is like a different story, like of a new person coming into the storyline, or if it's like about the two from Hopeless. I'm not really sure, and I don't really want to read the back because honestly it's just a little novella. It's not super long, so I just feel like I might as well just go into it blind. Yeah, it's literally 130 pages, so it's a very tiny book, but I'm really excited to read it because I love that story in Hopeless and I love the characters, so it'll be a nice little wrap up, I feel like. I've been sharing a lot of books by Black authors, but I always try to read books by Black authors because I feel like it's so important to read diverse books. And one book that I'm really excited about is This Side of Home by Renee Watson, and this is about 2 identical twins who one of them is super excited that like new businesses and like new homes and stuff are being built in their neighborhood, and the other sister is just like so sad. And this book is pretty much just a YA book that shows the effects of gentrification and how 2 sisters can have 2 totally different viewpoints on how they view their neighborhood changing. I just thought it would be a really unique book, and I feel like whenever I read books that have deeper topics, maybe about gentrification or like social issues and like social justice or whatever, I prefer to read it in YA because it usually is a little less heavy and it doesn't like hurt my heart, because I know that these things happen in life, and I feel like when I can read it in a way that's like a little bit easier to digest, especially since a lot of these things are like things that I maybe lived through or have friends that lived through. I feel like it just is so much easier to read when I'm reading a YA book. So I'm excited to read this. It's called This Side of Home by Renee Watson. I love a good fake dating trope, and I feel like this is going to be one that I'm gonna love this summer. It's called Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee, and this is about Noah, who he has a blog called the Meet Cute Diaries that are all about like love stories of like just super cute romances, and like everyone loves the blog because they get like so much inspo from like hearing about the romances. But then someone leaks that the like blog is actually fake and that all the stories are made up, and so Noah is pretty much exposed and he's like, oh my god, I need to figure out how to make people see this as like real and not fiction. And so he gets together with Drew and they have like a fake dating situation where they fake date and they like let everyone think that they are like actually together, and they like try to emulate some of the things from the blog. And I just thought that was such a cute little like storyline. And I also love, absolutely love fake dating tropes, especially when they're done well. So I'm really excited to read this, and it's pink and summery, and there's lots of like little text and stuff in here from the blog. So I just thought this would be really cute. Marriage for One by Ella Mays is a book that I've heard so much about, and I'm actually glad that I got this cover because this is from Book Depository, but the actual cover has like a literal man on it, and I just don't think I would ever read that book. But this cover is cute and it's perfect for summer, and it's about Rose and Jack. And Rose pretty much always assumed that she would take over her, I think, her uncle's coffee shop. She like always had dreams of it, but I guess in his will he said that only like her husband could take it over and not him, which I'm like, okay, this little sus uncle. Like, I mean, can women not like run businesses? But that's neither here nor there, because Jack, who's the lawyer, he offers to marry her so that she can like own this, and for some reason Rose decides to agree. So this book is a marriage of convenience, and they end up like having a really good connection. And I don't know, I keep saying like I love this trope, I love that trope, but marriage of convenience is also really cute, especially when the guy's like a little grumpy and he's just like, oh, like I'm doing this for you, but it's like deep down he's obsessed with her. Those are my favorite kind of books. And it says, maybe love can start with a contract, but will Rose still feel the same that way when she learns the full terms of their deal? This looks so good. I genuinely don't know what this book is even about. It's by Daniel Allen. It's called Continuum. I actually found this book because I was searching on Goodreads, and you can actually search by like romance as a genre, and then you can pick like Black authors and like Black romances. So literally that's how I found this book, and there were so many rave reviews for it. It's a little novella. It's nothing super crazy. It's only 163 pages or 64 pages. And so I picked it up. On the back it says, missed opportunities, chance encounters, instant connections. Everything happens for a reason. Life is made of little interconnected moments. Any one decision can completely change the trajectory of your life, yet somehow you'll still end up exactly where you're supposed to be, or at least that's how it happened for Aisha Young. And I've really been trying to read books that I haven't heard a ton of people like talk about, because I think that that's kind of the joy in like obviously having a book too, but also just reading in general, like finding a story and then being like, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with this, you have to read it. Whereas I feel like sometimes some of the most popular books just keep getting regurgitated, you know, and we aren't necessarily like looking for new authors and new stories. So I always try to do that and add that into my TBR because I feel like it's so important. You guys know I love Magnolia Park, so I'm hopping into the second book in the series, and it's called Daisy Hates, and this is about Daisy Hates, as you can imagine. And if you read Magnolia Parks or haven't read Magnolia Parks, it's pretty much like giving Gossip Girl vibes. Like they're rich, they are like on jets. Magnolia Parks is a woman of color, which I was obsessed with, and I just feel like the whole vibes of that book made me want to read this one. I actually bought the whole series because this writing is just so different than anything I've read before. It is very messy. Like if you like books that are messy, like I feel like you'll love Magnolia Park. So I'm ready to hop back into the mess. Like it literally gives Gossip Girl. It's so, not similar, but like it gives the same vibe of like people constantly doing crazy stuff, like a whole friend group. They are just like absolutely wild, and I'm really ready to hop back into it. And I heard that Jessa Hastings is coming out with a new book this year, so I want to read the rest of the series before the new book comes out. I'm really excited to read Grit by Kennedy Ryan. I read Flow, which is the first book in this series, and Flow is a book that It's only like 115 pages, so I feel like the novella literally gets you so excited for book 2, which is Grip. You can also buy all 3 books together in one thick book, which it's like thick. So I don't know if I would want to do that, because I mean, you can see that this book's pretty thick, but this one is about 400 pages and it's a really tall book. So the novella, I feel like, got me hooked, and now it doesn't feel so daunting to read a like tall, thicker book. Sometimes I feel like I get intimidated when they're this tall, because I'm like, what if I don't like it? I'm like stuck reading a book I don't want to read. But Flow actually kind of ends off on a cliffhanger, and I feel like Flow by Kennedy Ryan is a good book to read if 1, you're in a book slump, or 2, you really don't know what to read, because it's only 115 pages and her writing is so good that it will literally hook you. And so now I'm excited to read Grip, because I've already read Flow, which is the novella, like the first book to this series, and now I'm not intimidated at all, and I cannot wait to read it. It's kind of hard to explain, not really, I guess. So Grip, he is best friends with, I forget her name, the main girl character. Her brother is like an artist, and Grip is also an artist, and she has kind of been estranged from her brother for a while. And so she ends up going to visit him. They haven't seen each other in years, and when they reconnect, Grip is also there, and she like meets him and like starts to have feelings for him, and like literally their whole relationship, such a vibe. They have so many deep conversations in Flow, and I just absolutely love them together. And then at the end, there's something that's like gripping that kind of like pulls at your heartstrings, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. So you kind of get left on a little bit of a cliffhanger, enough to just like give you a taste where you want to get into this. So I'm excited for this. I feel like this is gonna be have to be at the top of my TBR, because I just cannot wait to dive in. So this was kind of like something I wasn't sure if I want to read. So if you've read this book, comment below and tell me if I need to read it. It's called In a Jam by Kate Catterberry. This gives summer vibes to me, so that's kind of the reason why I want to read it. But I don't know, it's like 458 pages-ish. I've never read anything by this author. It says she's the one that got away, she just doesn't know it. And it has single father trope, because it says Noah's a single dad to his niece and his hands are full running the family business. And it says until that old crush is the farthest thing from his mind, who is a girl who like was in town, was popular, ended up leaving. And it says until Shay returns to their hometown, turns his life upside down. I actually wasn't thinking about reading this, but I feel like I want to start the summer off with summer vibes. But I don't know why, I just am not super excited to read this. And not for any reason, like I haven't even heard anything bad about it. I just think I have a hard time sometimes getting into new authors, because I read a lot of books from the same authors. And so I'm excited to read this, but comment below if you read it, because I need to know if it's good. But yeah, it's just about the girl who got away, a girl that Noah's been obsessed with, and he pretty much sees it. She comes back to his small town, and he's just like, oh my God, she's here. And he's like so into her, and she just turns his life upside down. So I'm excited to jump into a summer book, not necessarily like going crazy about this book, because I've just never read anything from this author, but we will see. And that is all the books that I'm reading, and I've already finished 3, like I said, and so I know I'm gonna be reading so many more. Obviously this is a huge stack. I actually put 18 in here, didn't even realize, instead of 17. So yeah, and I actually took out Real by Kennedy Ryan and put in Grip by Kennedy Ryan, because they're roughly the same size, but Real is not in a series, and I just really want to get back into the Grip series, because I read Flow and loved it. So yeah, anyway, 18 books to read, and I don't know if I'll get through all of them, because again, I'm a huge mood reader, so I do switch and like change my mind a lot, but these are the books that I've been like reaching for and really excited to read. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe too, because I upload videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I'll be here literally all the time. So yeah, bye guys.